did good work today in class, working through this topic. There are a few things that I want to make sure are clear as you step back and try to understand the implications. I'm going to go through line by line, not translating, but focusing on a few key words. First, B'sha'ah she'alat Moshe lamarom. Now, lamarom, you know, means heaven, right? Meaning, of course, God. In this case, it's referring to a specific moment. There is only one moment when Moshe is said to have actually Allah lamarom, and that is, of course, the moment of Sinai. Now, that is significant because that is the time when Moshe went up to God. But it is also significant because we're talking about, of course, the giving of the Torah. So this is the moment then when Moshe is receiving the Torah. Okay. What is mitzao l'hakadosh baruch hu sheyoshev v'kosher ketarim la'otiyot. Now ketarim here are crowns. If you see, or if you see even on the page in the Tosfot, there you'll see letters with crowns drawn on. So the ketarim, the story is imagining God actually drawing in those crowns that we see in the Torah. What's important about the crowns? The crowns are illustrations, they're additions. The otiyot themselves, here, right? The otiyot, the letters are already written. That means the words are already complete. The Torah, the language, the words of the Torah are done. What God is now doing is extra. Moshe asks a reasonable question. Amar lefanav ribono shel olam. Master of the world, mi me'akev al yadecha. Me'akev here, right? Me'akev can mean to prevent, but in this case means really hold back. Who is holding you back, or what is holding you back? We would probably say, what's holding you back? What's keeping you? What's the language? But in this story, in fact, it is a me. It is a who. It is a person. God answers, Amarlo. Adam echad yesh atid liot. There is this, right? This one person. Now, Besof kama dorot. That's a phrase that you had different readings on. It does not mean at the end of all of the generations. Kama is just some. So, just many. After many generations, right? Just meaning a long time from now. And who is this Adam Echad? Akiva ben Yosef Shemro. Rabbi Akiva. We recognize that name. We know that Rabbi Akiva is a hero of the rabbi. So, we have God, at the time, when is this happening? B'sha'ah she'alah Moshe lamarom, right? At the moment of, right, the moment of Matan Torah, right? We have Moshe, take it back. We have God already having Akiva ben Yosef in mind. Okay, what is Akiva ben Yosef going to do? Atid li drosh. We're going to come back to that word. He's going to doresh al kots v'kots tilin shahachot. Kots literally means thorn, but in our case, it essentially means a corner. Meaning, not only will Akiva be doresh on the words, not only will he be doresh on the letters, he will be doresh on corners of letters. And on each corner, he will be doresh tilin shahachot. The Hebrew word tel might be familiar to you from Tel Aviv or from visiting an archaeological site in Israel. Essentially, it can mean the hill, but in our case, we'll call it a pile. So from each of those corners, Akiva ben Yosef is going to doresh tilin shahachot. Amar lefanav. Moshe said, right? Ribono shel olam har ehuli show him. Amarlo Hazor La'achora. God says, turn around. And so, in the world of the story, we're now at the picture, and we know that when he says turn around, it's going to be turn around and see Akiva at work. Now, the key questions then you have to think about as you get to this point, this moment, this pause in the story are: number one, what is it? What exactly does Doresh mean? How can Rabbi Akiva get from each coat v'kot to Tilin Jalachim? And the second thing I want you to ponder before you move on to the next part of the story is: what do you think Moshe is going to see? And how do you think he'll feel about it? So again, see if I can figure out how to do this. What does Doresh mean here? How does Akiva get from a coat to Tilin? And the second question you think about: what will Moshe see there? And how do you imagine he will react to it? Once you've thought through those two questions, you're ready to move on to part two of the story.